The obsidian citadel floated in silent orbit above the dead blue star of Kairos, as it had for 10,000 years. Within its ancient vaults lay the Vir Ascension Throne, a relic of the First Empire, self-aware, semi-sentient, and encoded to awaken only for a rightful heir. It should have crowned rulers for millennia, but it had remained cold, inert, and stubbornly dormant. Generations of Vir nobles, warlords, and genetically perfected heirs underwent the blood trial, a ritual requiring the throne to accept their lineage. But every attempt had failed. The throne dimmed for each candidate, rejecting them with indifferent silence. The empire fragmented into quarreling sectors while the throne remained untouched, as though waiting for a bloodline no one had ever considered. And then came Elias Crane, the janitor. He scrubbed the floors no one walked on, polished the railings nobles avoided touching, and waited for the end of his contract so he could buy a small shuttle and leave imperial politics far behind him. He had no noble blood, no alien augmentations, and no interest in ancient relics with an attitude. It was precisely why fate noticed him. The accident. On the morning the universe tilted, Elias was repairing a broken lum strip near the throne chamber, a place he rarely entered and never lingered in. But a damaged conduit sparked as he tightened a panel, sending a hot slice of metal across his palm. He hissed, shaking his hand, unaware a single drop of human blood had fallen onto the black marble floor. The drop rolled, slow and curious, until it touched the first step of the ascension dais. The throne shuddered. Elias didn't notice. He was more concerned with wrapping his hand and filling the incident report he knew his supervisor wouldn't read. But throughout the chamber, lights flickered as though ancient circuitry were waking from a long sleep. The obsidian metal throne unfurled veins of molten gold, pulsing like a heartbeat. The air vibrated, systems that had been dormant for an epoch whispered online. Biomatch detected. Lineage unknown. Priority absolute. The throne spoke for the first time in 10,000 years. The summoning Elias was halfway out the door when the chamber sealed itself with a thunderous hiss. He froze, staring at the glowing throne. "No," he murmured. "Nope, absolutely not. This is above my pay grade." But the throne disagreed. "Approach, heir." The voice echoed like an ancient choir, both commanding and impossibly calm. Elias blinked, then pointed to himself. "Me? I'm maintenance staff. The only thing I'm heir to is a pile of overdue bills. Approach." Before he could protest, the chamber's gravity shifted gently, pulling him toward the dais. Not forcefully, more like the soft tug of destiny, polite but impossible to ignore. He stumbled forward until he stood before the throne's towering structure, obsidian carved with constellations older than language. The molten gold veins glowed brighter. He whispered, "You've got the wrong guy." There is no wrong. Elias felt heat bloom in his palm. The cut he'd received was glowing faintly, golden like the throne's veins. "What are you doing to me?" "Restoring recognition. You carry the dormant code. The first emperor blended human genomes into the imperial seed strand. You are the last intact descendant." Elias stared. "Nobody told me my family tree came with an empire." The arrival of the nobles. The chamber doors burst open as High Regent Vera stormed in, flanked by guards in violet armor. "Step away from the throne," she commanded. Elias raised both hands. Happily. But the throne disagreed once again. Tendrils of light wrapped gently around his forearms, not restraining him, but protecting him. Vera's eyes widened. She had spent 30 years trying to force the throne to recognize her bloodline. Seeing a janitor embraced by it was an insult so vast it defied vocabulary. "That's impossible," she hissed. "He's a Terran, a nobody." The throne answered before Elias could. "He is the heir. You are not." The guards hesitated, caught between loyalty to the regent and awe of the relic they'd been raised to revere. Vera snapped, "Seize him!" The throne pulsed. A shockwave of golden light rippled across the chamber, knocking the guards flat and sending Vera skidding across the floor. She scrambled upright, seething. Elias winced. "Sorry, I didn't do anything, I swear." You invoked the throne. It defends its chosen. By knocking people around, they intended harm. That's debatable. Incorrect. Elias groaned. Even his ancestral superweapon had a personality. The awakening. The throne reshaped itself, opening like a blooming starflower. Elias felt a weightless pull urging him to sit. He whispered, "If I sit down, does something explode?" "Ascension will not harm you." "Great. Vague reassurance. Love that." But something in him, something old, something woven into his DNA, knew this moment was inevitable. He exhaled, then slowly lowered himself into the throne. The moment his spine touched the obsidian surface, light engulfed him. He saw galaxies forming in reverse, collapsing into star seeds. He saw the first emperor, a figure robed in starlight, mixing human and Vir bloodlines in a hidden experiment meant to ensure the throne's continuity. He saw wars, betrayals, ages of decay, and he saw a world needing a ruler who understood power but didn't lust for it. The light dimmed. The chamber fell silent. Elias stood, no longer just a janitor. The throne had reshaped his posture, his presence, the very cadence of his breath. His eyes glowed faintly gold. Vera knelt, unwilling but unable to disobey. "My emperor," she whispered. Elias swallowed. "Please don't call me that." "I fix broken things. That's all I know." "Then you are perfect," the throne said. "The empire is broken. Fix it." The new beginning word spread like a cosmic storm. The throne has awakened. Across the fractured empire, ancient systems rebooted. Lights that had been dark for centuries flickered alive. Starships reactivated. Governors bowed to a name they had never heard before. Elias Crane of Earth. Elias didn't want power, which, the throne insisted, made him worthy of it. He spent his first day not issuing decrees but repairing the same lum strip that had cut him, because it still flickered, throne or no throne. His second day, he asked for the guards to be given better working hours, safer armor, and lunch breaks. By the third, half the empire had sworn allegiance to him without coercion. He stood on the balcony of the citadel, staring at the vastness of space. "I wasn't supposed to be here," he murmured. The throne's voice echoed within him, not aloud, but like a memory. "That is why you are exactly where you must be." Elias took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and whispered, "Okay then, let's fix the empire." And for the first time in 10,000 years, the universe dared to hope.